4. Jack Unleashed. Kesa and I stood silently, listening for sounds of activity from Ada and Libby's room. "Why are we standing here?" Kesa asked. "Just wanted to make sure the coast is clear," I responded. "I think we're safe." "What coast?" Kesa asked, tail wagging. "I still need to go potty." "Yeah, me too. I'll meet you outside in 5. 5 what?" the dog asked. I shook my head. "Just go. I'll be right out," I said. Kesa was a good friend, but not the quickest crayon in the box. Or was that the brightest tool in the shed? Either way, I slipped out of my room, rounded the corner to the bathroom, and made for the big boy potty where, after pulling down my training pants, sat and peed. I crooned to myself. Blessed relief! "Who's the big boy now?" I added, quietly moving the plastic stool closer to the sink. It was at the sink that I ran into a tiny obstacle in my hand-washing plan. Ada or Libby always squirted soap into my hands, turned the water on for me, and helped to get my hands clean by rubbing all 4 hands together. I was primed and ready to squirt soap in my hands and, with water running, wash them all by myself. But the distance to the water taps and the soap proved farther than my reach would allow. "Oh well," I said, stepping down from the stool. "I'll just have to wash them before I eat anything." I listened carefully once again before stepping from the bathroom and back into the hall. Hearing nothing, I took a baby step forward and received a huge shock as a dark figure shot out from my left, brushed up against me, and streaked away in the direction Kesa had just traveled. "Holy dirty diapers!" I called out. "What the heck was that?" I knew the answer before I'd finished forming the question. Fabulosa, of course. A dark brown, nearly silent rocket streaking by in the darkness was trouble spelled C-A-T. I saw her take the left turn to the kitchen that led to Kesa's door in our backyard, and I toddled along after her. Everybody called the swinging pet door Kesa's, even though Fabulosa and Tom used it too. Ada and Libby didn't like it when Tom used the door into the backyard without them on account of Tom's missing claws, and I had been repeatedly admonished to never use the door. An admonishment that, to be honest, just made me more eager to do so. Kesa's door was set into the wall and stood directly next to a sliding glass door. The door led to what I longed for, our deck and the steps leading down to the glory of the fenced-in backyard. I looked out onto the deck in the brightening twilight and saw neither Kesa nor Fabulosa. This pleased me because that meant that the protected gate that Ada and Libby would latch shut at the top of the stairs had been left open, which in turn meant that nothing separated me from moving beyond the partial freedom of the deck to the true freedom of the backyard. While the backyard was Kesa's toilet bowl, it was also the promised land. Today I was going to cross the River Jordan. Today I was going to taste freedom. I stood at Kesa's door and hesitated for just a moment. Pleasing Ada and Libby was important to me. Few things in this world made me happier than hearing their choruses of, "Who's a good boy? Why, John's a good boy, isn't he? Aren't you, Johnny?" Juvenile? Sure, but it still made me happy every time they said it to me. Of course, there's a big difference between none and few, and developing independence was one of the few things that I found more alluring than the gushing emotional reinforcement that I received by being a good boy. I inhaled, pushed against the door, lowered my head just a tick, and walked out of the house and onto the deck. I can't tell you what freedom tastes like, but I can assure you that it smells like an Iowa backyard, surrounded on 3 sides by fresh soil and short, fresh June corn sprouts. It smells heavenly. It was easier to see down into the backyard from the deck than it had been from the sliding glass door, but Fabulosa was well camouflaged with her stealthy ways and dark brown fur against the dark green grass. Kesa's jingling collar clued me into where she was, and I saw her relieving her full bladder in a far corner of the yard. Fabulosa's whereabouts were soon established when she came running up behind the unsuspecting dog, pounced on her, and playfully began biting Kesa's ears. Surprised more than injured, Kesa barked loudly and ran from Fabulosa back towards the deck as fast as her frightened paws allowed, creating noisy hubbub that I feared would bring Ada or Libby outside to investigate. "Shh!" I shushed, but as Kesa was too startled to even hear my plea, I discerned no return to calm in my befuddled, barking friend. I rushed down the 5 steps that led from our deck to the sloping backyard and hurried toward the 2 disharmonious housemates hissing, "Kesa! Kesa!" as I ran. I'd almost reached level ground when light spilled out from Ada and Libby's room. "Kesa!" Ada's voice boomed out from behind the window screen. "Kesa, shut up! Don't make me come out there! You wake up John and you're gonna get a whooping!" Kesa's deafness must have been temporary, because with Ada's remonstration, she quieted immediately, put her tail between her legs, slumped behind a bush, and lay down on the ground as low as her considerable size would allow. Ada added, "Darn dog," as he shook his head in frustrated farewell to the miniature melee and then turned the bedroom light off. I heard Kesa whimpering behind the shrubbery and approached my friend, asking, "You okay, Kesa? Fabulosa didn't hurt you, did she?"